G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's a cold old Saturday down here at Barangaroo, and I'm just going to go for a bit of a walk and talk like I normally do and deliver a book summary. And today I'm going to deliver an absolute cracker, I hope, in the form of a book summary of a book entitled The Greatest Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And this is a sequel to the book entitled The Secret. So we'll just go for a bit of a walk around and have a chat about some of the morsels, some of the gems that we can extract from this particular book summary, and see what we can learn, what we can incorporate, and some of the life hacks that we can use to help us get a better perspective, a better view, a better interpretation on our particular lives, and what meaning we attach to those things, those experiences, those slithers that we have coming our way, knowing very, very well that we're all going to have a very different life to any other person. We're going to have some completely different experiences to what other people have. We're going to most certainly have a different past, a different present. I am here, you are there, you are somewhere else, maybe in a different time and space to where I am at the moment. And we're all going to most definitely have a different future. No two people are going to experience exactly the same life. No two people are going to experience the same moment in their lives. Each person is going to have a different life. Each person is going to be gifted different experiences, and we're all going to be called upon to view those experiences, to interpret those experiences, to use those experiences to create our own worldview. And it will generate different perceptions, and it's up to us to make sure that we create positive perceptions, positive experiences, even out of negative moments and experiences in our lives. So before I kick off with this book, just want to once again reiterate the fact that each and every one of us have different slithers of reality, because we can't live everybody else's life. We can't experience what everybody else is experiencing at any particular time. To get through life, to interpret life, to create our worldview, we need to depend on one of two things: either the experiences or the slithers of reality that we are exposed to, or the slithers of reality that we inherit. And we can either inherit it through the stories, through the legends that our parents and our families and our forefathers hand down to us, or else we can depend on another form of OPE, other people's experiences, in the form of books and book summaries and documentaries, where other people have done the heavy lifting, other people have performed the deep thinking to be able to extract and to document their experience, so that we can vicariously enjoy that experience. We can vicariously be there without actually experiencing it, and learn through other people's experiences. It's very, very powerful. And we all need to understand and to appreciate one thing, that there is no difference between a person who is illiterate and can't read than a person who is literate and doesn't read. So Jim's 5 a.m. club is designed and dedicated to all of those people who want to grow and develop, who want to expand their spheres of understanding, and to be able to use OPE, other people's experiences, to complement and supplement their own experiences, so that they can broaden and deepen their perspective of life, so that they can use their own experiences plus other people's experiences to generate and develop a worldview that will help them tackle the many challenges that we all are going to face throughout our lives. So getting back to this book and this book summary, the author here says that when you find yourself wanting love, know that it is like looking for water. That's the analogy that the author uses. And to understand that whatever you have ever wanted to find in life is right there in front of you. But it's up to us to open our eyes and be aware, and to look deeply at our thoughts, because what we think, our brain feeds, and we eventually materialize and manifest. So some deep thinking here from this author of the book The Greatest Secret, where she basically peels the onion and gives us layer by layer, step by step, so that we can understand that whatever we want in life is there, right in front of us, right at our fingertips. But it's up to us, it's up to each individual person to open their eyes, to ask the right questions, to be able to see and to receive what they are looking for, and to make sure that they're looking for the right thing at the right time in the right place, by being selective in terms of the people that they invite into their lives, to be discerning in terms of who you listen to, who you hang out with, who you look for advice from, because not everybody is going to be capable of providing you with the advice that you're looking for. It all depends on their experience, their capabilities, and their knowledge and wisdom. So what we're saying here is that there are many professors, there are many people who carry the title of professor. But what I'm starting to learn through life is that not all professors are valid. They're not all professing the things that are going to empower us, that are going to help us get to where we need to get to in life. And in fact, many people who carry the title of professor are actually fools. Now, they are caught up in their own confirmation biases. They are infected by illusion that they've created through their own sense of importance. So what we're saying here is that we need to be careful, we need to be discerning, and as Jim Rohn says, eventually each and every one of us will become the average of the half dozen people that we spend most of our time with. So be careful in terms, and be selective, I guess is the key word. Be selective in who you choose to hang out with and who you seek counsel from. Because whatever you think about will materialize. Whatever you want, whatever you're looking for, your brain will feed and will bring forward and bring it to your fingertips. But we need to be careful, as we said. We need to be resourceful, and we need to make sure that we're looking for the right things in the right places. And whatever we're looking for, we will find. Whatever we're searching for, will come our way, because we are what we focus on. But as the author says, we need to make sure that we're looking for the right things, we're climbing the right rungs on the right ladder, so we end up where we want to end up, rather than find that we're at the top of a mountain only to realise that we're on the wrong mountain and we should be over there or somewhere else. So the author says here that we need to get one thing straight, and you are not your story, you are not your job, you are not your mind or whatever you repeatedly tell yourself. You are in fact your awareness. So depending on what your awareness is, depending on how you tap into your awareness, will influence, as we say, who you are, who you become, and what your reality is. But in order to understand awareness and yourself, we need to use, as what this author suggests, an enlightening exercise, and to ask ourselves, are we living and expressing our particular unique calling? Each person has a unique calling or callings. You may have a different calling at different stages of your life. One calling could be to be a husband, another calling could be to be a father, another calling could be to be a grandparent. But we have multiple roles in our life that we need to express, we need to live in order to feel fulfilled, in order to live a complete life. But within each of those roles, we need to be enlightened and we need to be aware at that particular time, and we need to be present to make sure that we're living our life in the particular time slot that it is available. So we need to understand that we need to find and express our calling, and are we serving God with all our mind, body and spirit, and are we serving others, which is a particular purpose that Christians are called to. And I can refer to and relate to Christians because I am a Christian myself. Because what we're saying here is that once you find your calling, once you find what you're designed for, once you find your purpose, you will also find peace and contentment. Because at the end of the day, we all have an allotment of time. God gives everybody the gift of a lifetime. For some, it could be 100 years. For others, it could be 70, and yet for others, it could be much less than that. And some, it could be just nanoseconds. But once a soul is created, once a person is conceived, then from that point on they become partners with all of us, with the rest of us, in the eternal now, in God's creation. And even if a cell, even if an embryo just feels the heartbeat and the warmth and the nurturing of its mother in the womb, even for a nanosecond, that in itself is beauty expressed in every single possible way. So we need to have a compelling purpose. We need things to get us up early and keep us up late at night. And we need things that nurture us and bring us joy and allow us to connect with others and with God, and to partner and be God's partner in creation, so that we both serve God, glorify God, and serve and help each other, so that it's win-win, that we all benefit in the long term, and it's not all about us. So the second point that comes from this author is that we are, at the end of the day, we are all a product of our mind, and and the reality is that we don't live an objective life, we live a subjective life, because there's a big difference, a massive difference, between what we think happens in life and what actually happens in life. Because we are all living in lag time, and we are all living, and we all colour, and we all shade, and we all shape what we experience by our worldview, by our biases, by how we think, how we feel. And all of those, to a certain extent, as we mentioned before, are infected by biases. They are coloured, shaped and shaded by our culture, by the things, the beliefs, the ideas that we have inherited from our families and from others around us. And what the author here reminds us of is that we live a perceived reality. The things that we think are real is just a perception. It's just how we have interpreted things. And as we said before, we are not the stories that we say to ourselves. We are not the stories that other people try to foist upon us. We are not the definitions that others try to influence us to accept and to take in. At the end of the day, all we are is our version of our interpretation, and it's our interpretation of what our senses are feeding us and telling us. But we have a choice in terms of how we interpret things. We can interpret things in a way that serves us. We can interpret things in a way that gives us strength, that empowers us, or we can interpret things in ways that drain us, that make us bitter. The reality is that the subconscious part of our brain records everything, absolutely everything that is happening in our life. But you've got to ask yourself the question, what would happen if your brain is processing things wrongly? What happens if your brain is interpreting things not in a way that it should be interpreting it, based on the filter that we have happening, and based on the definitions and the interpretations that we're living in. As we said, our brains, our lives, each person has biases, and those biases could be good biases that are giving us the right interpretation, or they could be wrong biases. But the version of life that we see is based on what has been filtered via our reticular activating system, the part of the brain which is the filter. And as we said before, we don't see life objectively, we see life subjectively, and it's based on the filter, and it's based on the biases, the confirmation biases, the beliefs that we have accepted rightly or wrongly along the way. So depending on what you believe, depending on what you expect, depending on your faith, will also generate that reality. It will manifest that reality. So we need to be careful, and we need to be, as we say, conscious and aware of what is going on, so that we choose the right interpretation. We choose the interpretation that serves us, that doesn't drain us, that keeps us positive, living with positive expectancy is what I'm trying to say. So the call to action from this author is, and I love this call to action, is to try and zoom out of negativity. Where we are here, for example, I could be focusing on something like that, which is rubbish. Or at the same time, if I zoom out of there, I can focus on something which is beautiful, like that building over there, or these beautiful Port Authority boats, or the wharf on the other side. So what we're saying here is that it's up to you. You are the producer. You are the CEO of your life. And you're called upon to try and get the best interpretation of life, and the one that serves you, and the one that helps you serve God, and the one that helps you serve others. And to be productive in the thought processes that you have. And to understand that what the author here is saying is that by incorporating awareness, it helps us break the cycle. It helps us break the cycle of negativity. And we are called to try and help break that cycle. So the last formal point to come from this author is where the author is saying that we will eventually attract whatever we think of. So if you think of something which is productive, if you think of something which is positive, then that's what you're going to attract, that's what you're going to manifest, and that's what you're going to create. Because at the end of the day, as we mentioned before, we have confirmation biases, and our confirmation biases link into our reticular activating system, the filter in our subconscious, and it allows us to look and find and search the universe for evidence supporting what our beliefs are. So whatever you believe, your senses, your brain, your subconscious, which takes in everything, will focus in on it, and it will manifest it. And it's called the law of attraction. So if you think negative thoughts, then you're going to manifest negative outcomes. Your brain's only going to be looking for evidence to show you that you're right. If you have positive thoughts, and if you live with positive expectancy, once again, your brain, your reticular activating system, is going to focus on those things and scour the universe, search the universe for evidence to prove you right. So whatever your thought is, whatever your expectation is, it will be rewarded through the law of attraction. So once again, the last point that the author makes in this wonderful book called The Greatest Secret is to invite us to prevent limiting beliefs that generate limited outcomes. And the best way to do that is to prevent them from the very beginning by shaping your thoughts, by not allowing negativity or limiting beliefs to come into your life in the first place, and to break the cycle of self-sabotage. So once again, it's up to you. It's up to each and every one of us. We all have the power to achieve whatever we need, whatever we want, or whatever we desire in life. But make sure that those desires are positive, are serving, and you follow up with a plan and action to bring them to fruition. But as the author says, through the law of attraction, whatever you believe, whatever you constantly focus on, will become your slither of reality. And there's a compounding effect that each slither is added to another slither and eventually becomes your worldview. So make sure that you're enhancing your worldview by listening to people, by reading books that come from a source of authority and are going to empower you, make you stronger, make you better, make you look forward to tomorrow and to live with a positive expectancy. Take care, everybody. Yasas, and have a good rest of the Saturday. It's quite nice here in the sun down here at the wharves. I think it's the wharf 5 and 6 down here, but it's quite beautiful. Take care, Yasas, and bye for now.